part of the agenda but not taken up on the day. I would just like to be clarified on this matter on behalf of the minority, Mr. Speaker.
These are bills, resolutions, and other measures set on the calendar of business for the day by the Committee on Rules. They shall be considered as far as practicable. The business for the day can be considered as far as practicable in the order in which they are listed in the calendar of business and after the unfinished business.
Michael Defensor of Party List Anak Kalusugan.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Kung maaari po sanang ipaliwanag yung aking point of order if I can be given time to explain, Mr. Speaker, the point of order that I'm raising this afternoon.
Please state your point of order.
Thank you. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, dito po sa ating consideration sa mga agenda natin, ang isa po sa lahat po dito ay yung ating unfinished business. And if I may read, Mr. Speaker, the particular concern is the committee report on, ito pong committee report, numbered on House Bill 6732, anak granting the ABS-CBN Corporation a franchise to construct, install, operate, and maintain radio and television broadcasting stations in the Philippines and for other purposes. Ito pong bill na to ay nandito na po sa atin ng humigit kumulang, lampas na po siguro ng mga 3 buwan, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, bago tayo magkaroon ng konsiderasyon for the business of the day o yung pag-uusap ng mga batas na kailangan natin pag-usapan ngayon, Mr. Speaker, I would like to raise a point of order that the unfinished business of the ABS-CBN franchise be decided first before we take up any issue in plenary, Mr. Speaker. Unless, Mr. Speaker, there will be a debate on the rules at kung ano po ang tamang dapat gawin. Pero malinaw na malinaw, Mr. Speaker, na nakasaad sa atin sa calendar of business natin na bago pag-usapan ng business for the day, bago pag-usapan ng anumang debate sa anumang batas, ay tapusin muna natin ang konsiderasyon ng mga items o mga batas sa ilalim ng unfinished business. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Session suspended.
A while ago, the distinguished acting majority leader, Deputy Majority Leader X. Romualdo, moved that we take up business for Thursday and Friday. It's only Wednesday today, but he moved right away to take up business for Thursday and Friday because he deemed that it is wanted to get this out of our minds already, to finish this already. You asked if there was an objection, and there was no objection. So the presiding officer, which is you, the distinguished Deputy Speaker, said, okay, carry on with the business for Thursday and Friday. That is the status of the Parliament, of the plenary right now, Mr. Speaker.
Point well taken. The explanation of the majority leader is noted and accepted.
Mr. Speaker,
Lord Leader, please.
yes, Mr. Speaker, before your ruling, I understand and I accept the explanation of the majority floor leader. That is precisely why what I raised was a point of order. A point of order because there should be a in the order of tackling our business and in the order of motions, there is an hierarchy. And the point of order is of the highest hierarchy. What I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, what we have here is an unfinished business. Ito pong ginagawa natin pagdidebate sa mabang panahon, marami nang naging batas na naaprubahan, pero ito pong unfinished business ay patuloy pa rin na nandyan sa unfinished business. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, before tackling any other issue, before entertaining any other motion, bago pag-usapan kung anong mga batas o kung anong pang motion, kailangan po sanang matapos muna natin yung ating pag-uusap. In particular, Mr. Speaker, again, I assert that the committee report conducted by the Committee of the Whole has been submitted for the longest time. Nandito na po sa atin yan, the unfinished business of the ABS-CBN franchise. And I'm calling, Mr. Speaker, that we either affirm the committee report and do away with that unfinished business before we continue with the other businesses of the day that we are considering as a plenary, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, the Honorable Defensor. The Chair will now rule on the point of order. As stated earlier, the Chair has sustained the explanation of the Honorable Floor Leader. Yes, we cannot take the point of order. So, sustaining the explanation of the Majority Leader, the point of order is not taken.
Mr. Speaker, I appeal the ruling of the Chair.
The Senior Majority Leader, Honorable Remulla, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. After conferring with the Honorable Defensor on his request for an assurance that the unfinished business shall be taken up on Monday, and since the presiding officer cannot give his word right now, but since he is not slated to be on the roster or on the podium on Monday, then it was already agreed upon with the Honorable Defensor that the assurance of the Senior Deputy Majority Leader is sufficient, that we will take up items in the unfinished business. By Monday, we will start taking them up already, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Senior Majority Leader. Honorable Michael Defensor, it is your pleasure, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Una po sa lahat, nagpapasalamat ako sa kagalang-galang Boying Remulla sa kanya pong pananalita. And with that assurance, of course, Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy sa konsiderasyon na binigay niya. And because, Mr. Speaker, previous to the Honorable Remulla, the Majority Leader was the Honorable Arroyo. And now that you are the presiding officer, Mr. Speaker, with my highest respect, I will withdraw my appeal, Mr. Speaker, with that commitment. Maraming salamat po.
The appeal is withdrawn. Thank you, Congressman Defensor. The Honorable Majority Leader. The Honorable Belmonte is recognized, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would just like to be clarified on this issue on behalf of the minority, Mr. Chair. I do recall that the rules do state that the order of business starts with unfinished business and then going down to the business of the day and other matters. However, on the section referring to unfinished business, it shall be tackled as much as practicable. That is very, as far as I understand it, and from my experience being a member of this House for the past 5 years, it is not obligatory or mandatory na tapusin po muna natin yung mga unfinished businesses before we go to the business of the day. I would just like to be clarified on this matter. When the Majority Leader moved that we tackle the business of the day and go on with other matters to be tackled by the House, urgent matters that concern the House, that means that although the unfinished business is part of the agenda, we are not obliged to take it up immediately, especially since these are concerned, there were special reasons for why these matters were part of the agenda but not taken up on the day. I would just like to be clarified on this matter on behalf of the minority, Mr. Speaker. Your Honor.
The manifestation of the Honorable Belmonte is well taken. Any
Mr.
advice
Speaker.
from our Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, before the Majority Floor Leader, if I may just read the particular section of the calendar of business. Letter B, business for the day. These are bills, resolutions, and other measures set on the calendar of business for the day by the Committee on Rules. They shall be considered as far as practicable. The business for the day can be considered as far as practicable in the order in which they are listed in the calendar of business and after the unfinished business. It is not the unfinished business which shall be considered as far as practicable, Mr. Speaker, as stated in Section 80 of the Rules of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the guidance of our honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat po.